Gonna do some analysis for TL versus C9. First best of 3 of the LCS. In a game review sense, the way I expect a coach would do it. So looking at the draft, the TL comp is honestly really normal. The only weird thing I would say is Corki Nami, but Corki Nami's popping up a lot lately, and it's pretty strong now. So even that, honestly, it's fine. I think C9's draft is a bit strange because we picked Renekton in Italy, and in this game, well, in general, when you pick Renekton in Italy, you often want to use the early game advantage they provide to do something, unless those champs are just overpowered. And I don't think they are, and we don't use the early game advantage for really anything. So that's a bit strange to me that we're prioritizing that much. Maybe it's because Renekton's the best blind. I'm not really sure. But I thought that was a bit strange. And I also think it's a bit strange to go Bard with Nidalee as a support jungle, because I think it makes it really hard to play teamfight. So now Bard is good against Orianna. It's not that good against, it's good against Orianna and Nami, kind of. But it's not that good against Corki. And this lane looked really hard. Now it's probably not as bad as it looked, but the lane seemed pretty hard. Vulcan is going to have to show why, and he does, to be honest, why he picked this pick. But honestly, I feel like TL's draft is better. I think the reason C9 won was more TL losing rather than C9 winning. So let me go skip ahead. Some stuff happened in the early game. Most of the things that happened in the early game was just bot lane was getting destroyed. There were already a bunch of trades. This is maybe a good example coming around here. This was just happening constantly, where Jan was valking in, and this looked unplayable. The result wasn't that bad, though. It just looked unplayable. Okay, the first actual thing that happened this game is this scuttle fight. Now, this is the scuttle that both junglers are going to hit level 6 on. As you can see, also I need to move this down, so I'm not covering the screen. So this is a very common situation to fight. Both teams feel like they win. I would say whoever gets the smite probably wins. And maybe because Blabber has upgrade smite and Jose Duda doesn't, Blabber thinks he wins. But TL don't even go for the 50-50 on the scuttle. The bot lane is just 2v2ing, but it ends up just being 2 different 2v2s, and yeah, they just completely one-shot Blabber. Yeah, good job for TL. Nice play. Blabber not respecting and gets completely one-shot. Now, Quid using flash is pretty important in this mid matchup. The Orianna Azir matchup tends to be Orianna wants to pressure Azir in the laning phase, and Azir wants to get a shuffle onto Orianna. So Orianna having no flash and Azir having flash still is really important. The next thing that happens is there's a neutral trade. Blabber goes for Grubs while Zinzao goes for Drake. I think this is fine. Probably it's the best C9 can do, but I think it still favors TL, because TL's win condition, in my opinion, is stacking Drakes and team fighting. So them starting Drake stacking early is good. Okay, next thing that happens is nothing. And this is important. So I was talking about Ori Flash being down. This is kind of the first situation. Oh yeah, Quid solo killed Blabber at some point. That was something that happened, but whatever. The main timer that Quid is gankable, TL is doing a good job at covering. So this is really good from TL. And this is why Quid essentially just gets through without ring. C9 could have tried to do more, but they didn't find the angle. Okay, next thing that happens is something very important. So Quid got a free kill on Blabber shortly after the dragon fight. And because of this, Quid is up a lot of gold. In this mid matchup, it's a very volatile one. If you get ahead on either side too much, it can make it really hard for the other side to play the lane. So Quid making this mistake and letting APA solo kill him is pretty bad, because Quid is up 700 gold and then dies and loses his entire lead. Huge play from APA, really good. But then, like a minute later, APA dies. I think he has kind of fake vision. You see that there's this Phaelite here? I think he has fake vision and thinks that he cannot get ganked from this side because that's why he's hugging the side. I mean, this side's also pretty hard to get ganked from because there's a ward here. I don't know. This is a really bad time to die because he just got a good trade-off and he just got a solo kill. And now not only does he blow flash, he dies and essentially undoes to a certain extent the solo kill that he got. So now Quid's back ahead. Got a bunch of plates and has a lead again. And because this was right around the time that Dragon was dying, TL is going to get Dragon. Although Quid does immediately die afterwards again. So this is also a bit strange. Definitely some spring, spring split things that happen that don't happen a lot later in the game. At 15:45, I think this is really interesting from C9. C9 decide or just come to the conclusion that they don't want to fight this Herald. Herald spawns at 15. They don't want to fight, so they opt to trade. They do a good job, or APA does a good job at sneaking this wave. So TL is a wave slower on the side lane. I would say TL is not supposed to let APA get this wave, and maybe this is what enables C9 to make this macro play. But after sneaking this top wave, APA TP's down bot lane, and they're threatening to dive and take this tower from Morgan. Morgan probably shouldn't die here, honestly. I think he just misplays it. He's trying to do the Bouse thing where he like ults and takes the whole wave and completely like ruins this macro play. But because he does his ult in a way that's easily blockable, it just goes off horribly. And this situation where TL's getting a neutral objective ends up being bad for them. Because they get a Herald, and the advantage of Herald is, a small amount of golden XP, but mostly the Herald. But they use Herald to take top tower. C9, because they have 3 grubs, APA can get bot tower by himself, so the gold's more concentrated on him. And they're losing bot waves. And because TL had to use the Herald, there's not a Herald threat later in the game. So once the teams, reset, the game's essentially neutral again. And if you look at the gold swing, basically the gold didn't change, except C9 slightly got more gold. But because a lot of it was concentrated on APA, I'd say it's probably better for them. And because they're in a losing game state, that's the other reason that's better for them. But it's not that bad. It does not lose the game for TL, but it is a good macro play from C9 to salvage that. I mean, salvage is maybe the wrong word, but recognize the opportunity and play towards it. This is the first team fight of the game, and this is demonstrative of C9's deficiency in their team comp. So they don't have a normal front line. So you'll see that Thanatos is standing on the left here, and APA is not even here yet. He's at Wolves trying to reconnect. There is no front line here, so Morgan decides to pull the trigger, and he's just hinting. I think they didn't know where Azir was. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure if they just run in, that would work. But they don't know where he is, and now he's finally showed up. But Morgan got chunked, and Sign Ult is one of the big engage tools. And a big theme around these team fights is, can TL get their engage off successfully? If they can get their engage off successfully, C9 basically has no counter. If they can't, then C9 can win. And that's why I don't really like C9's comp, because it's just, can TL do the composition correctly? In this situation, Sven flashes the Orianna ulti. I think Quid thought that Jose Diodo had the Q3. Because if he did, then that would have worked. But he didn't. So Quid has no ulti. And now with no Nami ult, no Ori ult, no Sign ult, there essentially is no engage left from C9. Or, excuse me, from TL. And now, this is where the C9 carries can just start auto-attacking. In the meantime, APA has just been auto-attacking Sion the entire time and finally kills them. It ends up being a 1-for-1, but it is... I don't think Jose Diodo was in range, but it was technically an objective flip. But it ends up just being a 1-for-1. And... I feel like a lot of things went right for C9 there to barely get an advantage. They arguably just flipped 50-50 and went 1-for-1. But a lot of things went well there for them. So I was worried for C9 during the game. Okay, so this is an interesting sequence of macro. The TL do a really good job here. So what happens is TL make a move to play for this bot tower. They move with 4 people. Azir, or all of C9, is indicating that they want to defend this tower. Thanatos is going to try to clear this wave. Vulcan's coming. Blabber's coming. There's an indication that they want to defend this tower. They're not willing to give it away. APA decides to TP in. All of C9 is in the bot lane, which means there's 5 people to 4, so they want to fight, but okay, there's no engage. They use Bard ulti, and now they have no engage. APA is the only one with engage now, but he was too far. He TP'd in behind everybody, behind his own team. So now, because Morgan was mid lane pushing, somebody has to answer mid lane. Okay, that someone is Sven. But as soon as Sven shows on this mid wave, he shows now, you'll see Jose Diodo instantly engages. They go for the fight. And this is just TLL playing C9 macro. I think APA probably shouldn't have TP'd. I think that was probably the mistake that C9 made. And then as soon as Sven shows mid lane, C9 can't defend bot tower anymore. Not obviously, no one is expecting to get engaged on when a successful engage happens. But okay, this is still a mistake that really shouldn't happen. This is probably the most confusing mistake in the entire game to me. Excuse me. The TL side confusingly just full give top, even though I don't know why. So I'm pretty sure if Quid just goes top and gets this wave, it would be fine. Like APA is just leaving. He doesn't even show, like he looks like he's gonna leave, and then I think when he sees Quid, he's like, no one's here. I'm just gonna keep pushing. TL just end up giving this entire side a lot of gold and a tower to APA with their main, you know, combats to that being they get a couple plates mid and priority around this dragon area. But I honestly don't even think APA is so delayed that this matters. I don't think C9 is engaging with control anyway. They're always going to contest late because of the way their comp works. So I feel like Quid could just catch that one top wave. I think he just gave the top wave too early. But okay, whatever. That's just a bunch of gold given. But it's not the end of the world. We're back at a dragon fight. And I'll just let this play out because it's going to be a lot of poking and looking for engage. But TL do a really good job at not getting baited by C9 and not wasting any of their engage. Vulcan uses his ulti there because he wants to engage, but there's no follow-up because no one on his team can follow up. So now there's no Bard ulti, but all of TL still have the important ulti. This is how TL wants to play the fight, and I don't see how C9 is supposed to stop them from doing this exact thing, where they have the setup early first, and TL start the dragon and just find one person that's making an error and then full commit on them. In this case, it's APA. In the last fight, APA was basically full hitting the entire time. In this fight, he gets engaged on. He should get one shot. TL kind of flubs their follow-up to the good engage from Jose Diodo. But even though he survives, the fight is still won for TL already. APA is too low, and TL just has control of the dragon. Blabber can't even go for a 50-50. But essentially, the fight was over instantly. Good fight from TL. Nothing happens until next dragon. So we're going to next dragon. Okay, next dragon. We've had one team fight where TL kind of flubbed their engage, and C9 won. We've won a team fight where TL flubbed their engage a little less, and TL won. So TL really need to make sure that their engage is good. and they do a terrible job at it this fight. This is worse than the first fight, to be honest. So it's the same thing where they're both staring at each other. Both teams have heals, and here Quid just wastes his ulti on Bard. Vulcan gets a pretty good Bard ulti and scares Quid enough, along with Thanatos' threatening to flash stun him, that he feels like he has to flash out. And this is going to be important because this gives the opening for APA to go in eventually. But also, Sion is using his ulti to try to defend, but Core already uses ulti to defend, and Sion ends up having to just cancel because he can't hit anyone over here. I mean, he can hit Bard, but like, what the hell does that even do? His carries can't follow up. So this is actually a waste of Sion ult. And now it's completely different. This Sion ult's dead. There are no ultis from TL left, which means this is the same scenario as the first fight where C9 just won easily. But the key difference is that APA is so essentially untouched that this is where he finds his angle to go into Quid, who has no flash. He only hits Quid. I mean, Jose does 1 HP. He only hits Quid, but now he has Zhonya, so he's not going to die doing this. And Yon gets zoned, and C9 get a free win of the fight. Well played by them, to their credit, but I think TL just really fumbled their team fighting. After this, C9 get Baron off this and Dragon. The Baron play that they make, Quid just showed top lane, and he has no TP. So C9 use this time to just run into the enemy bot side, and Vulcan does this really in a funny way because he just portals in, and as soon as anyone is seen, they just full engage. And the reason they can do this is because Quid's not here. So TL kind of caught sleeping. They should not be there when Quid's showing top. They should not be trying to fight and contest that jungle, but they kind of get caught sleeping. And it's kind of a recurring thing that happens in this series is TL is a bit slow, especially after C9 makes a good play to get ahead. And a very similar thing happens immediately before the Baron's even gone. So on that Baron push, they managed to get mid tier 2, mid inhib tower, and mid inhib and bot tier 2, which was a lot considering you still had to base after Baron, come back out on the map, take control. But because the fight happened, they could do it so quickly that they still have Baron. In theory, they could go top on this wave coming out of base and play for this top tier 2. Instead, C9 decide to do this, which my only reason why they want to do this is they think TL is going to make this mistake, which is a bit weird. I understand why TL is doing this, and it doesn't look like they're inting that much because Sion has TP, whereas before Orianna had no TP. But this ends up just being too far, and APA can do the same thing where he goes in, and this fight is also just losing. Quid gets caught on the side, but he's almost always dead. Even if he doesn't get Bard stunned, he's going to die to Renekton because he's running into him. And this is just a very good fight angle from C9, honestly. I think this is hard to see, especially because I think a lot of people would want to be going top lane there. There's not really anything for C9 to be doing on bot side. So, good job from C9. Well played from them to win. I think their combo's harder to play. Game 2. In this game, I think C9's comp is way better. So, the main part of this draft is Varus Rumble trade. In both game, in the previous game, it was banned. Both of these champs. Rumble Varus trade. What tends to happen when you trade one OP power pick for another in different roles is the standard answer that you have needs to be better than their standard answer. I think C9 pretty clearly had a much stronger answer into Rumble than TL had into Varus. I think the main reason for this is that Cena has red side or last pick. They get counter pick support. And sometimes counter pick support matters a lot, and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, TL picked Tom Kench because I assume they don't want to blind an enchanter, because I assume there's not a good enchanter left to blind, / they're against Jarvan, Aurora, Varus. They might just die a million times if they pick an enchanter. If they pick a tank, then C9 can go Tahm Kench, and Tahm Kench is good against C9's comp because it's Vi, and Vi is the only engage, except for the the tank engage you're gonna pick. But it's gonna make it pretty hard for Vi if C9 can pick a good Tahm Kench angle. So that's why TL goes Tahm Kench. But the problem is that Tahm Kench is terrible. And C9 could have picked an Enchanter support, but I think for the same reason that TL doesn't, C9 don't, because playing an Enchanter support against Vi Rumble is really hard. So instead, they opt to just go Rakan. And Jhin Tahm Kench just look terrible this game. In contrast, C9 pick Aurora into Rumble, and she is just completely chilling the whole game. Minimal risks, minimal problems. But frankly, compositionally, I'm not sure how much it mattered because, I mean, we'll just see how it plays out. So, it's 3 minutes into the game, and TL, Jose Deodo, wants to fight this crab. However, if we look at the game state with our eyes, I'll move my mouse, you can see the mini-map. You'll see that APA is moving first on Talia. TL's ball lane's out of vision in this bush. C9's ball lane's moving first. This is not a fightable crab. We are not supposed to be fighting this. We need to not fight this. Now, TL's was first, technically, but they just can't stay. Yan is too low. And that's probably why this initially happened. But TL just needed to not fight this. I don't know why I don't know why we're not leaving. Why did we W in? We just bait Yan to die. He's getting team aggro to stay in. And then Jose Deodo dies. Now there's 2 kills. Now 2 kills is bad, but it's not the end of the world. However, giving blue buff to a mana reliant champion in the early game really sucks. This lane mid is not that bad for Yone. It's one of the easier mage matchups for Yone, which is why it's played. However, with blue buff, it's probably the hardest because Talia is the most gated by mana of all of the champions in mid lane that get played commonly. And APA is just having a great time. I think he blows Quid's flash. Yeah, he gets a nice little trade and blows his flash 1v1 and is essentially just sitting under his tower and getting a huge CS lead. Part of this gold lead is the kill, but a lot of it is just the fact that he can play so aggressively with blue buff. But okay, whatever. That it does make lane annoying, but it's fine. You can survive. Next thing that happens is TL's attempt to salvage the mid situation. So because APA is up so much gold, he's got boots 2 already. People tend to build boots 2 pretty early on Talia. He probably would have built boots 2 at this point in the hypothetical universe where he doesn't get this kill. But the boots 2 really matter in this fight. And the reason they matter is that it should be a 1-for-1 because APA gets hit by literally every spell in the entire game. But because he's so fast, APA just runs away enough to get gets another round of spells. If Jose Deodo doesn't die here, it's a 1-for-1 and it's like even, right? Blabber does a great job of being in the bush as soon as they're going for this play. And does a great job at getting all of his damage on both people and essentially killing Quid with just his spells. So Blabber does a good job being here. APA does a good job of surviving, and this results in it being a 2-for-1 instead of what it probably should have been, which is a 1-for-1. And now, this early game is really bad. This is now danger zone of an almost... We're one more bad play away from the game being unplayable from TL's point of view. Now, this is a very interesting situation that happens. So, TL's starting the dragon, but they can't stop a 50-50. Morgan decides to TP in to this dragon fight. In my opinion, this is game losing, this TP. I think there is no way we are ever TPing here as Rumble. But Thanatos doesn't punish him for it. Thanatos should just stay top when he sees Morgan TP like this. But Thanatos goes mid. So even though C9 has 3 grubs and a wave already at tower, and Thanatos could be going literally just walk back top and take this. Both of TL's team TPN, and this results in a very politely C9 get the dragon, but TL get a kill, which is helpful because they were so behind. The early game was really bad, so getting a kill is really nice. And the dragon is a problem, but it's more of a problem in the future rather than a problem right now. If C9 just went top with Thanatos, that would have been terrible, because then TL needs to get the dragon and a bunch of kills for that to ever be worth it. Thanatos is going to get so much over Morgan just by staying top. But Thanatos just went mid and did nothing, so that was a mistake from him. I don't think anything too substantial happens. Oh wait, this guy dies. So a very good play from TL, catching APA on the side, helping alleviate some of the early game problems. And this is why, even though the early game was super bad, it wasn't, you know, just FF the game. It was still really bad, but in the game, you're still actually believing that you can still win. And it's from plays like that pick onto APA that result in that. So now there's only a 2k gold lead, which is not bad. And if you look at the item spikes, it's pretty close. Everyone basically has one item, and the way the breakpoints work on the items results in Blabber and APA, or Blabber and Sven not having a second item, even though they're up a lot of gold. So this is a pretty good time for TL to take a fight if they want to take a fight. But this is not going to go well for them. So C9 have the start. Posito gets caught and should just get one shot, but with tenacity, Blabber doesn't react fast enough. But despite their failed engage, TL tries to engage onto the Jarvan, and they do kill Jarvan, but they just all die in the process. This is part of the reason I don't like TL's comp, and why I don't like the Tahm Kench specifically, because I feel like some champs can be primary engage, but they need other champs that are also primary engage to really be good at primary engage, and Vi is a good example of that champ. Because when Vi is the only person that can really lock someone down at the beginning of a fight, people only have to worry about one person. When Vi is over here, all of the carries can just sit here and know there's no threat onto them. Engaging onto the Jarvan corrals all of the melee champs from TL to go onto the guy that's CC'd. That's the guy we're engaging on. Of course, we're all going to go hit him. But then Vulcan, with the Rakan last pick, really plays this fight well. He ERs, because there's a Locko if you do it the other way. He ERs, gets a charm on all 3, and then runs into charms Tahm Kench, so he can't even devour anyone. And the fight's instantly lost as soon as he does that. Aurora ult, Talia damage, Varus damage. Fight's instantly unplayable as soon as the Vial goes onto Jarvan. But I mean, what are you even supposed to do as TL? Like, you have to engage something. They already got lucky not losing the fight off of Vi getting engaged on. This guy could die 100-0 for sure. If he gets knocked up by Blabber, he might just die 100-0. But he doesn't. He survives. They go for the counter engage. They go on Jarvan. Okay, anyways. I don't like TL's comp. Also, I miss when earlier in the game that Tahm Kench was bot lane and just died from full HP from Chain CC under tower. I forget where that was, but anyways. Next thing that happened is, okay, so this is kind of a weird mistake from Jan, and I think this is kind of a spring split problem. It's not really that big of a deal. Things like this happen, and they happen forever, but Jan just kind of randomly dies here and blows flash. It's a pretty simple mistake, but it's also a pretty impactful one, because he dies and blows flash. So now for the soul fight, he's not going to have flash. It kind of messes everyone except Quid on TL is kind of getting screwed over from this. But Quid is getting strong. He just stayed top and kept split pushing. And now the pace at which C9 has been stacking his dragons is essentially on spawn. It's going to be a 23-minute Elder or Soul fight for C9. Thanatos almost died, so he doesn't. And we'll see how this fight plays out. So, important to note, it's Hex X Soul, so if you lose, it's game over, essentially. TL's attacking from bottom side. I think this fight is probably just C9 is up 5k gold. I don't think they played the fight sufficiently better than TL. I think both teams commit to the fight and to the dragon approximately the same amount. This TP from Rumble could have been very bad, but he instantly flashes and Vulcan. That is just a free flash. We'll just play out the fight. Honestly, there's nothing super specific I want to point out other than both junglers are in range of the dragon. It is just a full-on flip, and Rumble gets it. So, yay, C9 don't instantly win the game. But I don't think, like personally, this is just wall diff. If TL is not down 5k gold, this fight does not look as bad as it is. But because they're down 5k gold, they're all really low. And C9 can just chase them down and win. So even though they lost the fight, C9... This is good for C9. Yeah, you got the dragon and then I'll die. And now we get Baron. So, that's not good. Okay, the game's pretty much over. At this point. Now, TL, after the Baron from C9 last game, kind of instantly made a mistake. This time, they're the ones that are going to try and pull the trigger. Kind of. I mean, I guess C9 pulls the trigger and then TL counter engage. But it kind of looks like they're trying... Wait, Quid's dead. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, Quid died here. Okay, I'm legit trolling. Okay, just ignore everything I just said. C9 just... Yeah, I guess TL did the same thing they did last game, where C9 got Baron and then TL died really fast on Baron. And then TL, because they're getting engaged on, the best thing they can do is counter engage, and it just doesn't work, and it goes terrible. And now the game's unplayable. Okay. And then just for, you know, we'll finish the game. We'll show the last fight. It's a dragon fight. C9's down 11k gold. Excuse me, C9's up 11k gold. It's not playable. Okay, it's already unplayable. Okay, dragon's gone. It just, you know, they're not even close. They're trying to contest, and they're getting engaged on at wolves, essentially. And dying and losing while C9 is doing the dragon. And C9 just pushed to end the game right after this. So, oh wait, no they don't. Yeah, I forgot how this game ended. I just remember that this game was a complete stomp. Ooh, Morgan gets caught. Right, Morgan gets caught, and now it's 5-4. Now they end. Yes. Okay, well, overall, I would say I think drafts were relatively equal. I think TL was favored in one and C9 was favored in one. Seems pretty fair. I think C9 played a lot better than TL did, and that's why they won. The macro they had was really good. I think TL from behind was making a lot of mistakes, and C9, even when they were behind in that first game, they were not making nearly as many mistakes as TL was. As soon as TL got behind, it almost felt like the collapse, whereas C9 was much more resilient. And it was well-deserved win from C9, so congrats to them. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you like this kind of content, and maybe I'll do some more. Bye-bye.